On today's show, we'll take a look at what should be the new rules for the post-pandemic retirement and how you can apply them to help yourself.
And now, the Wealth Training Academy. Your retirement questions are answered here.
Shielding and protecting and growing the money that you've worked so hard for.
Ed Storer offers turnkey retirement solutions under one roof.
We handle every aspect of a person's finances.
The Wealth Training Academy with Ed Storer.
It is the Wealth Training Academy. I'm Consumer Advocate Dave Perkins. Hello. We're talking with Ed Storer, who is president of the Wealth Training Academy. Ed has many years experience in helping people actually shielding their wealth and, of course, building retirement plans for people. You can learn more about the Wealth Training Academy at wealthtrainingacademy.com. And if you click on Contact Us, it's right there where you can submit your questions we read at the end of the show every week. Hello, Ed Storer.
Good morning. How's everyone doing this morning?
Doing wonderful. A wonderful weekend and a wonderful time to talk about when we're going to get at least to the new normal. We'd love to get back to the old normal, but we'll take the new normal.
Well, you know, I just the new normal. It's just a buzzword that everybody's using today, and it's just killing me. Here's an old saying. And I've heard it, but I don't know where it came from. Learn from the past, plan for the future, live, love, laugh for today because it's the only present you're getting.
I like it. I don't know
who said that, but it's out there.
It's a good one, without a doubt. Well, of course, coronavirus. It's thrown a big monkey wrench into the old rules for retirement. From a volatile market to early retirement, we're going to take a look at what are potentially the new rules of retirement. Now, here's one old rule, Ed. Make retirement savings your number one priority. New rule, make paying off debt, especially high interest debt, a priority.
That, without a doubt, there's good debt and there's bad debt. The longer you hold on to that bad debt, the worse you're going to be. So here's the thing. Paying off debt should be the number one goal even before getting your retirement. So much of your income is devoted to paying high interest when you're in retirement that if you can't get that paid off, you really don't feel like you can afford to save. So make a plan to pay off the debt is as important as saving for retirement. Now, with that being said, there's a caveat to that rule. If your employer offers you a match in your retirement savings program or your 401k, try to put as much as possible in that 401k up to that match.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's free money if you get it.
Free money. Don't turn down free money.
And I never do. I don't get it offered a whole lot. I haven't even seen a stimulus yet, so I don't know what to do about that. All right, here's another one. Old rule, your home is a great retirement investment. New rule, your home is not a great retirement plan.
True. So remember that your house is a place where you live. Unfortunately, we spend too much money on homes thinking that we need to have this lavish lifestyle. We put more money into the home than we do the retirement. Here's the thing. In the Greenville area, we never saw a recession in the home area. The rest of the country, the values of their homes dropped. We in the Greenville area never saw that. So we don't feel that will happen to us. Hey, I got news for you. It can, and it probably will. Not having enough dollars put away in your retirement account and spending more money on the big home and or the second home really shouldn't be what we should be doing. We should be focusing on, again, paying off the debt. We should be focusing on living a minimal lifestyle in a home that we all like, that we can afford, that should be paid off. Once we get into the retirement world, That's the world from when we go from accumulation to the world of distribution when we're living off the assets. Our house needs to be paid for, and our house needs to be a little smaller. Remember, the house is illiquid. That means if you've put all your money into the home and you haven't put enough money into the retirement assets, that when you try to go sell the house, and we're in a down market on real estate because we are now growing in Greenville area like we've never seen before. We're still growing, but we have a lot of people coming in. When the recession hits in real estate and you can't get rid of your home and you have no money, then you're really hurting. So don't let your home be your biggest investment.
We're looking at some possible new rules for retirement in the era of coronavirus and in the hopefully soon to be post-coronavirus era with Ed Storer of the Wealth Training Academy. 800-563-7030. That's how you reach Ed and his team at that turnkey firm, 800-563-7030. Here's another one. Of course, the old rule of thumb, you'll only need between 70 or 80% of your pre-retirement income. New rule, you may need to replace 100% of your pre-retirement income. What do you think about that, Ed?
Yeah, underestimating the amount of money that you're going to spend in retirement is one of the biggest rules or faux pas that we see and hear when people walk through our office. They think they're going to spend less in retirement, but what happens is you end up spending more and or at least the same amount because you now have this time on your hands.
Yeah.
Where you didn't have this time on your hands before. You were working 40, 50, 60 hours potentially, and you got home, you retired, you did whatever you did, but now all of a sudden you're not going to that work. So making sure you understand your budget and reducing your expenses are very important, and it could be 100%. Mortgage is a big issue. Vehicles still need to be bought and sold. Grandkids are coming to you asking for
money.
Okay, grandkids. Yes, because they do.
Yeah.
They have the same. By the way, you love your grandkids sometimes more than you love your kids. No, I'm just kidding. But
they're more fun because you can give them back.
Give them back.
That's right.
So with that, I mean, that being said, your expenses are usually the same amount that you are spending now. If not, sometimes more. So you have to calculate that. You have to know exactly what's going on, reduce your monthly expenses, have that budget.
I wouldn't want to live on 80% of what I currently make, and especially if I was on an eternal weekend, because that is when we all spend more money. And really, that's what retirement is. That probably should have been
vacation times, right?
Right. The eternal vacation. All right, here's another one. Old rule, retirees should greatly reduce their exposure to stocks. New rule, retirees shouldn't shun stocks.
One of the greatest financial risks for retirees is inflation. Without knowing when we go meet our Lord, you need to kind of do some hedging here. I mean, here's the crazy thing. About every 3 out of 5 retirees will live past age 90.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought. So think about this. We're going to retire at age 65. We're going to be unemployed for the next 25 to 30 years.
Wow.
Now, that's according to the Social Security Administration. Mm-hmm. This is their numbers and their factoring. So having 100% of your money stuck in bonds or junk bonds or these fixed annuities is not really a great idea because they're not going to really keep up with inflation and taxes. So you need to make sure you understand your risk. And we've talked about that in previous shows. There's two kinds of risks, the risk you need versus the risk you can handle. You need to understand that. And that's very important in knowing what's going on with it. So don't be scared. Don't be scared of the stock market. Just understand how to control within the controllables within the stock market.
And better yet, have Ed and his team on your side because they do understand that and they're going to work on your behalf. A little bit of time left here, Ed, but don't want to leave this one out. Old rule, save at least 10% of your income for retirement. New rule, aim to save 15% of your income for retirement.
Absolutely. That is such a big that should have been number one, actually.
Yeah.
It really should have been number one. Here's the thing. We're not saving enough for retirement.
Well, it's like
we're
the countdown show. We do number one last, like Casey Kasem.
We're not putting enough away for retirement. We're not exposing ourselves enough. We're not cutting our budgets enough. Look, for the next 10 callers, if they call right now, we'll do a full review for you. We'll look at your taxes, your investments, your insurance, and your estate planning. We'll look at everything that could potentially be holding you back from a comfortable retirement. We'll look at the whole program. It takes a team to do this. I have the team here, the investments, the insurance, the estate planning, the attorneys. Everyone's here. I don't do this by myself. I got a team. We'll review the whole thing. We've seen people charge $1,000 for this. We'll do it for free. If you have $250,000 or more in your retirement savings accounts, we will do a full-blown review, tell you what your costs are, what's holding you back, help you initiate some of these rules. But give us a call. And if we don't answer immediately, leave us a message, please. We will get back to you. Next 10 callers, give us a call right now.
Next 10, and you do get Ed and his team behind you. And Ed's team at the Wealth Training Academy, it's why we call him a very turnkey firm, because he has team members with expertise in taxes, investments, insurance, Medicare, estate planning, all in the same office. 800-563-7030, 800-563-7030. This is a full review that Ed is offering, and he's going to take your portfolio, the pieces of your retirement savings puzzle, and give it an x-ray, CAT scan, break out the microscope so he can detect those fees you may not even be aware you're paying. And he probably needs that microscope to read the fine print in whatever your current plan is. So he will break out the microscope, and it could be a quite eye-opening full review for you. And it certainly could lead to allowing Ed and his team to build that retirement plan for you. That's why Ed is known as the Shield, the wealth coach. And you can set this up by calling 800-563-7030. This is at no cost or obligation to the next 10. And the phone lines are open now, 800-563-7030. Someone will get back in touch with you as soon as we are off the air. 800-563-7030. It is the Wealth Training Academy. We've covered the old new rules. What's next, Ed?
Amidst this COVID-19 pandemic, many companies, large and small, have cut their 401k match, unfortunately. When we come back, some of the things we can do and some of the things we can help you with to soften that blow.
He's letting the clock run out on his Social Security to age 70 for maximum benefits. And here comes the Roth conversion. He's locked in for income for life. He's got some outstanding coaching with that annuity plan. He's created his own pension as well, and it looks like he's going to go all the way.
Play your best retirement game. Call Ed Storr and the team at the Wealth Training Academy. 800-563-7030. 800-563-7030. Ed Storr, 800-563-7030. The Wealth Training Academy continues. Consumer Advocate Dave Perkins here with Ed Storr, who is president of the Wealth Training Academy, serving and making many people happy in the Greenville and surrounding area for many years. That's because Ed has under the umbrella, under the roof at the Wealth Training Academy, tax, investments, insurance, Medicare, and estate planning, all in the same office. And by the way, you can learn more at their website, wealthtrainingacademy.com. Well, I've known people who have gone through this now, and what we're going through as a nation and world, that's the old 401k match, which is certainly a nice perk. You talked about it last segment. It's free money. Don't turn it down if your company offers it. Now, some companies are cutting that match as a way to cut their expenses and maybe even to avoid layoffs. And hopefully it's temporary. But Ed, let's say you have a client who's in the financial red zone, still working but getting closer to retirement, and they come to you and say, Ed, they've cut my 401k match. I would imagine the first thing maybe you would do is say, all right, well, let's put things in perspective. Let's understand the context of this situation.
Correct. And the first thing that we would always say is don't panic. And as you mentioned, the companies are looking to restructure in the midst of what's going on right now. They're looking ways to cut. They're not trying to cut employees. Here's what we've look. Companies don't want to hire you and get rid of you. It costs them tremendous amount of money for the training and everything else. So they always look at other ways to cut costs first. One of them may be your match. So maybe they are cutting your matching portion that you have in your 401k. That could be so they don't cut you. So let's take the cut in the matching on the 401k and potentially let them keep you. Now, again, they don't want to reduce staff, but also here's the other thing. It's a little bit of an anxiety when they do that, and I understand that. When you look at your retirement, if you're 59 and a half and you have retirement assets and they do cut your matching, now's the time really to do some evaluation and go, maybe I should move that to an individual retirement account. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through it. But you need to then go, do I need to keep it in my 401k? Because there's actually hidden fees and commissions and costs in there that you don't know about that could be now time to reposition that. So don't freak out. They're doing it to potentially keep your job. However, look at other options along the way.
And we're looking at this, for instance, if it's an existing client you have and their 401k match is cut, and that's certainly something that is happening now. And I would imagine, Ed, you and your team would say, all right, we're going to get a plan here to get through this. Hopefully this is temporary. Let's take care of your immediate needs first.
And we said that at the beginning part of the show. Remember, learn from the past, plan for the future, live, love, laugh today in the present because it's the only one you get. And that truly is looking at your immediate needs. We were talking about this in cutting some of the household expenses, getting rid of debt, changing the way you do your spending, get rid of the high interest debt. Potentially look to paying off the house. It's not your biggest asset. So when they are cutting the 401k matching, maybe now when you're cutting your budget, see, we talked about that before. After you look at your budget, you cut the budget, you make it correct. That should give you some extra money that you could now contribute more to the 401k, even though they're not matching. You're cutting your budget, you're cutting your expenses. You should be putting more away for your retirement. We talked about that before. 10%, the 10% old rules bad, 15% rules better. You put more money in your 401k, that could potentially cut your taxes that you're paying and save more for retirement. So it's very important that you take a look at your immediate needs along with how much you're contributing. Could you contribute more? And how much more could I contribute? That way, you'll understand how much you'll need to have to and through retirement. And you can't do this without a system. You have to look at all the taxes, all the investments, all the insurance, the cost of your investments, the cost of your insurance, your estate planning, because here's another thing that I want to mention. Immediate needs. You need to have powers of attorney. Your wife or your husband, if you have a retirement account, cannot manage and or take care of your 401k or do anything in your 401k if you're incapacitated without a power of attorney. Just because they're the beneficiaries on the account does not mean they can make changes for you on those accounts. So knowing your immediate needs, understanding how much you can contribute to the 401k, how much you're going to need to contribute to the 401k is extremely important at this time.
So, and absolutely. And you mentioned you've kind of cut your budget a little bit, and that could, if you didn't get cut in pay at work and you've still got your job, contribute more if you can. It keeps you on that trajectory. And what about thinking about an IRA?
Perfect. Thank you. That was a great lead into. I was going to say we need to talk about IRAs.
Right.
let me stop. We use the word IRA in our industry, and it's called an individual retirement account. There are two of them. One is called a traditional IRA. That's where you put money into a retirement account that could potentially be tax deductible for you. And I'm using the words potentially because it really depends on if you have ability to put money in a 401k and so on and so forth. But there's also something called a Roth individual retirement account or a Roth IRA. Those dollars are not deductible to you, but they grow tax-free. And making sure the dollars that you have today grow tax-free for in the future are extremely important, more so than ever before, because somebody's going to pay for all this bailout that we're having.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look, they're not doing this for free because they like you. And if you think that, please readjust your thinking. I'm going to really probably upset somebody. The government is not doing anything to take care of you except for ordering you and telling you what to do and stuff like this. But they're not trying to help you for your retirement. They said you need to take care of that. That's why it's called an individual retirement account. You will pay taxes on dollars that you take out of your 401k and or traditional IRA at your highest tax bracket in your retirement that could throw you into a higher tax bracket when you're in retirement. Could tax your Social Security, could tax your Medicare, depending on your income. You need to know and understand all that. Having a Roth IRA will grow all tax-free for you. When you take the money out, it will be tax-free. So Roth IRA is better than traditional IRA.
Yeah, a little sting at first, but then, and I shudder to think how we're going to pay for all these trillions of dollars. So excellent point once again, Ed. We're looking at how Ed and his team can help you and keep you on the right track if your 401k match is eliminated, at least even temporarily at work due to the coronavirus. You can reach Ed and his team by calling 800-563-7030, 800-563-7030. And I know you also tell your clients, keep the focus on the long term.
Even though you are in retirement, you need to make sure that you focus long term. Having a tight budget, one that you know what's going on, understanding your withdrawals from your 401k. This is things that you need to focus on long term. How long will I potentially live long term? Remember, we talked about that. We're going to be living into our 90s now. So that's 30 years if you retire at 60. Having a long-term focus is very important. Inflation is very important. Taxes are very important, and those are always going to continue to go up. You need to understand that. Enabling your IRA to be able to be investing in some stocks, some CDs, some different programs other than just mutual funds is very important. You need to have a long-term approach. Now, that's after you guarantee your income. You need to guarantee the income first and foremost. And here's the thing. It's very hard to retire if you don't have a plan. So the next 10 callers, we're going to do this again. For the next 10 callers right now, we will do a full-blown review for you. We'll look at your taxes, your investments, your insurance, and your estate plan. We'll look at the whole thing. We'll put together a view as far as where you are and where you need to be, your costs, your expenses, your taxes. We'll show you how to take that long-term perspective, look at everything. We have the team here for the next 10 callers who have $250,000 or more in their retirement program. We will do a full-blown evaluation for you. We'll look at that. The team and I will take care of this and look at the whole program for you, your whole wealth. Taxes, investments, insurance, estate planning. Takes a team to do this. You need to have a system to get through this. You need to be able to apply all these new rules because they're changing quickly on us. Next 10 callers, leave us a message. We'll get back to you.
A full-blown review that can lead to a full-blown retirement plan to and through retirement, no matter how long that is for you, that can be custom crafted by Ed and his team at The Wealth Training Academy. 800-563-7030, 800-563-7030. For the next 10, this full review is offered at no cost or obligation, and it can lead to that customized retirement plan for you that does include guaranteed income through your retirement, and of course the protection that you need for your retirement too. Ed and his team offer turnkey retirement services with a tax advisory group, investments made easy, insurance made easy, and essential estate planning. That all comes under the umbrella of the Wealth Training Academy. So let Ed draw that retirement roadmap for you, one that starts where you are now, of course, and it gets you where you need to be and where you want to be in retirement. 800-563-7030. Next 10, no cost or obligation. The phone lines are open now at 800-563-7030. The Wealth Training Academy. Straight ahead, more of the show. What's it going to be about, Ed?
Look, we know retirement planning is very difficult. You've never done it before. But running out of money in retirement usually is one of the biggest fears we hear and see from pre-retirees. But there's even more worries that they have. When we come back, we're going to combat some of the retirement fears and talk about what to do about them.
And now a nightmare retirement consultation. Yeah, no pain, no gain, right? No risk, no reward, right? We're going all risk, see? We're going to put everything you got in the market. You're going to love it. Don't walk, run from that office and go to your future retirement partner with your best interest in mind and with a plan that's customized for your risk tolerance and that can help increase your financial confidence in retirement. That's Ed Storr at the Wealth Training Academy. 800-563-7030. 800-563-7030. Welcome back. It is the Wealth Training Academy, and this is offered to you every week on the radio, and it can be offered to you from Ed Storr and his team on a personal basis to custom craft a retirement plan for you. You can reach Ed and his team at the Wealth Training Academy by calling 800-563-7030. Ed is the shield. He is the wealth coach. 800-563-7030. Ed, we don't want to scare people too much here, but, you know, we are going to talk about some fears here.
Yes. And unless you've done this, you've never retired before.
Well, right.
I haven't met too many people who've retired to come back and say, I'm going to retire again.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna help allay these fears for you, common fears for retirees. Of course, it can be a scary time. I mean, you're becoming unemployed. So that's why we always say with a guaranteed lifetime income, Ed and his team can replace that paycheck you lose with your retirement paycheck. But Ed, this is fear number one, and it's the big one. Running out of money in retirement. How do you help your clients face that fear and feel better?
By putting them at ease, first and foremost. The first thing people come in and share with us, and what you will probably share with us when you come see us also, is you're worried about running out of money, or that there's high expenses and the market's down and it's declining just when you're getting ready to retire. Well, you're right. So the first step in dealing with that fear is to have a great retirement plan, a wealth plan, one that takes in consideration your taxes, your investments, your insurance, and your estate planning. Ideally, you want to start this plan well before you retire, so it's not a big uh-oh or oops. However, if you're still, you should be looking at this 3 to 5 years, minimum 5, in my opinion, 5 years out. 3 is okay. The day you're retiring is not good.
That's doing your homework on the school bus, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The plan must also make room for contingent liabilities, okay? Because we're going to run into expenses that may or may not occur, but we need to take a look at them. First and foremost, getting our budget. Remember, I cannot tell you how important it is to understand what you're spending in retirement. Not we have money left over. because what happens is we spend more along different months, usually Christmas. Maybe one of the things we need to take in consideration is downsizing your home. Remember, we talked about sometimes we're living in bigger homes than we really need. We've got 5, 6, 7 bedroom homes and so forth, and you don't need all that anymore because it's just you and maybe the spouse. Spend less as much as you can. You don't need 14 different providers of cable.
Right.
Cable, Netflix,
streaming
Hulu,
services, and everything.
Streaming services. Thank you, because I'm saying cable. There's all kinds of. You watch too much TV. Turn that off. Don't listen to the news. It's bad stuff. Reduce your taxes before retirement, and then even more during retirement. Those are things that you need to be taking in consideration when you're looking at your retirement plan. Plan for income first, not growth. Don't plan for growth within your retirement. Plan for income first. I've yet to meet the person who has yet to tell me that they are planning only for growth because they're not going to spend any money in retirement.
Oh,
Spending
right.
money in retirement means income. You have to have income coming to you. Now, if you have plenty of income, much more income than you need, then you can grow the assets beyond that. You need to first and foremost get your income under control. Maybe you need to work part-time job.
Mhm.
There's a lot of mental behind that, but I'll get into it later.
Right.
But
Something
maybe
you enjoy, hopefully.
Yeah. You're going to retire. Okay. Maybe you're retiring from this position or this job, just over broke, to doing something that you want to really do that might pay you an income. Hopefully you'll do that. Maybe you'll work part-time because you want to. I don't know. But there's also, instead of maybe retiring, work a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you like your job. Maybe you like doing what you're doing. I was talking to a gentleman this past week who went from one position to his dream job position, and he's going, I don't want to retire now because this is exactly what I wanted to do to begin with.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So we're going, oh, okay, well, then let's plan for if you need to retire. See, that's, again, different perspectives on things. But you need to have a plan, the plan first and foremost.
Well, yeah, and the plan that you and your team can lay out, I mean, it's there. It's the big picture, and it shows. I mean, you can show them, okay, we got income. How long do you think you could live until be 100? Let's get you locked in with some guaranteed income then. And that's
People are living longer.
Absolutely. And that certainly does help that fear. And boy, the next fear here is certainly understandable. Out of control healthcare costs in retirement.
Yes. And again, that's why you have to plan for these contingent liabilities. We don't know. As a rule, healthcare spending increases as we age. Retirement savers can build these expenses into their plan. Remember, that's the income plan, taking into consideration your budget. But what happens if major illnesses strike? So that's why you have to plan far and beyond what just your idea of living expenses are. You have to build into the budget what ifs. You have to build into your plan what ifs. That's that contingent that we were talking about. And healthcare can be one of the key expenses that you may not plan for. Medicare, that's why we have Medicare people here. They specialize in knowing the costs of insurance. Medicare covers our basic essentials. We have Part B, and you need to get that as soon as you're eligible for that. To age 65, and to avoid that 10% penalty, there's an enrollment penalty that you need to make sure that you do that, and there's certain times that you can apply for Medicare. And again, we have the people here that can help you through that. So if you have a Medicare question, give us a call on that. There's all kinds of different coverages. There's Part F, there's Part G, there's Part C. As you can tell, I'm not the Medicare specialist.
Well, it's a regular alphabet soup with it. Your team but your Medicare team knows their ABCs.
Yes, my Medicare team does that. We build that into the plan. And here's the thing. That's why you have to have your Medicare team with you, okay? You have to have the insurance specialists with you because that's going to be part of your biggest expenses. You need to understand that needs to be part of your planning. Those are those contingent liabilities that you need to think about. So before you go into the retirement, you need to understand your expenses, how much your Medicare is going to cost, how much your taxes are going to be in those situations. And that's why we have the team.
We're looking at helping you to face your retirement fears and combat your retirement fears with Ed Storer and his team at the Wealth Training Academy. Just say, Ed, activate the Financial Wealth Shield. That is financial wealth management system integrating tax and investments, good tax strategy, investments, insurance, estate planning, all in the same office and under the umbrella of the Wealth Training Academy. 800-563-7030, 800-563-7030. There are new ways and better ways now to prepare yourself for the possibility of long-term care, Ed.
There are. In the old days, how old are you, Ed? I've been doing this 29 years. You think, but a lot have changed since then.
Oh, man, hasn't ever.
Prior to about, let's go 10 years ago, life insurance and long-term care were separate vehicles. They now have the ability, and we call them use them, don't lose them programs, that combine long-term care insurance with your life insurance. And if you haven't had an evaluation on your life insurance in a while, they're very expensive old policies out there. If you've got something older than 7 years, you're paying old hidden costs for your life insurance. They've come down in costs now, and you can combine your long-term care and your life insurance. Mm-hmm. So if you need the long-term care, you're paying for the long-term care. If you don't need the long-term care, it will be passed on to your heirs tax-free. So it's called a lose it, don't lose it program. I'm a big fan of those. I believe you should be self-insuring anyway, and we can show you how to do that. It's very important that you take in consideration, baby boomers have it hard. They have to take care of the elderly. They have to take care of their mom and dad who are older, who are living into 90, 95, 100. They also may have to support the older children who unfortunately have gotten laid off in this time. They have to face maybe potential unemployment themselves. So we call them the sandwich generation. They have to take care of the older generation, the younger generation, and themselves. It is very difficult as a baby boomer to
and what do they get in return?
All that on.
They get in return, okay, boomer.
So it's hard. It's stressful, and you need to have a plan for this. And so for the next 10 callers, call us, leave a message. We'll get back to you. For the next 10 callers, we'll do a full-blown evaluation. We'll look at what you've got going on now. We'll look at your fees, your expenses, your hidden costs, your tax situation, what kind of plan you need to have for mom, for the kids, for you if you get laid off. We'll take a look, and we'll help you get through all these fears. For the next 10 callers, if you have $250,000 or more in your retirement accounts, we will do a full-blown review. We'll show you all your expenses that are going on. We'll listen to your fears. We have the team here. For the next 10 callers, we've seen people charge $1,000 for this in the Greenville area. We're going to do it for free. A full-blown review of your taxes, your investments, your insurance, your estate planning, all the hidden fees inside there. We'll do that for free. The next 10 callers, give us a call now. We will get back to you.
Man, absolutely. And no cost or obligation, as Ed mentioned, it could normally, this could be up to $1,000. He's offering for the next 10 at no cost or obligation and a full-blown review looking at everything. Think of it as a second opinion, too, which is always a good thing to get. This is for retirees and pre-retirees, and it is common sense planning. It's straight talk from Ed and his team. It is certainly not financial double talk, not a sales pitch. It's a plan that they can formulate for you and custom craft for you. And this is how you set it up. 800-563-7030, 800-563-7030 for Ed and his team at the Wealth Training Academy. One more segment on the show. Ed, what are we going to be doing?
It's time once again to answer some questions that we've been getting on our website. We've had a very busy week. We've gotten some great questions, and we'll handle a few of those when we come back.
Should I take my Social Security? How much risk can I tolerate? I'm afraid I'm overpaying in taxes. Did I save enough? I can't
There are a lot of components to your retirement, and it certainly can seem overwhelming. It's time to establish a partnership with a professional who can provide you with a written plan, the proper strategies, and then be there with you along the way. That's Ed Storer at the Wealth Training Academy, 800-563-7030, 800-563-7030. The Wealth Training Academy continues great information and the answers to your questions, as always, from Ed Storer, who is president of the Wealth Training Academy, serving folks and helping folks set up retirement plans and shield their wealth in the Greenville area for many years, with a very turnkey firm handling taxes, investments, insurance, Medicare, estate planning, all in the same office. Now, we close the show every week with your questions that you submitted to the website, wealthtrainingacademy.com. It's really easy. Click on Contact Us. There it is, the box where you can type in your question. And you may just hear it on the air here as we close it out every week with your questions from Seneca. To open it up, I'm 65. My wife is 61. I'm working and plan to retire at 71. My question is, should my wife take her Social Security benefits next year and then get 50% of mine added to hers when I retire, or should she wait? She makes about $50,000 a year. I make 8 times that amount. Not to brag or anything. I make 8 times that. Can she even do that? I don't. I know you understand the question, but is that possible? It sounds like double dipping.
Well, that's a very good question. He's 65. She's 61. He wants to retire at 71. He lives in Seneca. I'm going to bet he lives around Lake Kiwi. Mm-hmm. And so, should they take? That's a great question, because here's the thing. Your Social Security, it can be one of your biggest retirement assets that you own. And looking at how to plan with Social Security is very important. So I'm actually glad this person from Seneca actually wrote this question, because they've been looking and they've been talking to someone other than maybe just an investment advisor or just an insurance advisor. They've obviously been talking to their CPA, and they know and understand the Social Security rules. Mm-hmm. However, here's the thing: should his wife take it at 61? Because of the penalties that they're going to pay on the Social Security, I wouldn't do it. I would actually look at how the other income, because he's over here or she's over here saying that, because he said I make 8 times that amount. I'm going to take a stab at that. They have plenty of income coming in, so they may not need the Social Security. And depending on the way you file for file for Social Security now, you may not be able to apply for the spousal benefit because of the age. And looking at this without really diving in and looking at all the opportunities that, our planning system takes into consideration, because there's over 500 ways to file for Social Security, I would be amidst kind of giving them advice over on the air. But please, Seneca, give us a telephone call. We'll help you through this. You're obviously somebody who understands that Social Security can be one of your biggest assets, and planning for Social Security is very important as part of your retirement planning. So my hat's off to you on that one, first and foremost, for taking that into consideration. And most people need to take that into consideration. So give us a call. We'll walk you through this, because there's tax situations involved in this. There's penalty situations involved in this. There's once you file, and now with Social Security, you can't go back and fix it. There are ways to go back, but it's very complicated. And this is a very complicated matter. And so give us a call.
Yeah, I mean, that's something you could certainly take a closer look at to give really good advice to the gentleman from Seneca. And the number, by the way, is 800-563-7030. 800-563-7030. Next one's from Taylor's. Do inherited IRAs fall under the RMD waiver for 2020?
Do inherited IRAs fall under the required minimum distribution waiver? The answer to that question is yes. They do fall under the required minimum distribution waiver for 2020. However, you may not want to not take the money out, because here's one of the things we got to remember. We have 10 years that we have to take the money out now because it's an inherited IRA. There's new rules and regulations under that. The other thing is it might be a Roth. You might be able to take the dollars out and reposition them from tax deferred to tax free. So just a simple answer of, should I not take out the required minimum distribution this year? Well, there's a lot of tax opportunities and or situations in that you could look at. So please give us a call. These are opportunities that you should be taking is in taxes, because there's tons of opportunity right here in your taxes with the required minimum distribution. The market obviously is down, so maybe repositioning dollars from tax deferred to tax free is important. We don't want to go the other way.
Right.
We don't want to go from tax free to tax deferred.
No.
So just because it's waived, again, just because it's waived this time doesn't mean you don't want to take it. There's too many different opportunities inside that question without knowing all the answers that I would love for this person to give us a call.
Yeah, because Ed, you can help them with that 10-year strategy on that. And as you said, maybe it may be a good idea to go ahead and take it in the first year.
Absolutely.
All right, out of Greenville, I have $640,000 in a previous employer's 401k and $100,000 in my new employer's plan. Do you recommend that I merge the two? Both funds offer similar investment options. My only motivation is based on simplifying paperwork during retirement, although there may be other advantages I'm not aware of.
That's a great question. Anytime you have the ability to take your money out of the expensive 401k plans, and they are expensive, just Google hidden fees inside my 401k, and you'll see that you're paying fees in there. One of our wealth members actually calls it fleas. It's actually kind of funny. But anytime you have the ability to reposition your assets from your 401k to an individual retirement account, I would highly suggest doing that. First and foremost, here's why. You are now in control. You can control what you invest in. You can control how much your fees are going to be. You can control how the investments will be allocated. Having dollars in a 401k, you're limited to the ability to invest in that 401k based on the investment selection that the 401k has set up. There are, again, fees inside there. Maybe this is an opportunity to reposition from we talked about this earlier, reposition from a tax-deferred account to a tax-free account. Mm-hmm. I don't know how old this person is. I don't know their tax situation. Is there opportunities that are out there? Do they potentially need to get access to the money? If they're older than 59 and a half, can they take money out tax without penalty? So there's tons of opportunity within this one question that you, as the person that's out there that has this, you should be taking into consideration. You need to look at all the opportunities and the situations that you could benefit from on this, versus just rolling into another 401k that's just limited and has high fees. So give us a call. We'll help you out with this. There's lots of things to take in consideration, but that's a good question. I would move money out of the 401k if I have opportunities to.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot to work with there. I mean, you truly could activate that financial wealth shield for that person too. So you certainly
Absolutely.
could. And anyone.
There's a whole income planning here that needs to be taken into consideration. Let's go back to this for a sec. You need to understand that, or at least I hope people understand, that you don't want to pay high fees.
Right.
There's a lot of fees in 401ks that you can control. The other thing about this is the income. You need to, if you have the opportunity to start creating income and take that and plan that through, that's so important that remember, it's income. You're only investing to create income. That's the only reason why you invest.
That's right.
To create income.
Sure.
Income is more important. Growth after you've guaranteed your income is then the way to do that. So you invest to get income. When you're 3 to 5 years out, you start planning for that income. When you're in retirement, you need the income. So take your money out of the 401k if you have the opportunity.
And talk to Ed. And as a matter of fact, not just you from Greenville, but anyone who would like to get a full review, talk to Ed, set it up.
Absolutely. And here's what we're going to do. For the next 10 callers, hopefully one of them will be the people that we're asking questions. I mean, we're getting a lot of questions, so keep sending your questions. We answer them. We get back to you on them. So keep sending us the questions. But for the next 10 callers, we will do a full-blown review, just like I'm sharing with you on this person here. And all the taxes, the investments, the hidden fees and commissions that are built up in your investments. They're not doing this for free. The insurance costs, the estate planning that goes along with this all needs to come together. You need to look at this just like business owners look at their assets and their resources. You in retirement will be unemployed for the next 25 to 30 years. Yeah. You need to look at all your resources also. We'll do a full-blown review. Taxes, investments, insurance, and estate planning. We'll do this review for free. If you have $250,000 or more in your retirement accounts, we'll do this for free for you. We've seen these reviews cost as much as $1,000 in Greenville. We're going to do them for free. We will look at your taxes. We will look at your insurance. We will look at your estate planning. We will look at all the things that you need to look at for your retirement plan. We have a system that will take you to and through how to get you through the retirement. For the next 10 callers, leave us a message. Give us a call now.
Take advantage of the opportunity. You have nothing to lose, and you have the potential to gain a lot getting this full-blown review from Ed Storer and his team at the Wealth Training Academy. Next 10, no cost or obligation, 800-563-7030, 800-563-7030. Good information here as always, Ed, and you and your team are standing by and ready to talk to people.
Give us a call. Remember, it's about shielding, protecting, and growing your wealth, and that's what we do at the Wealth Training Academy.
So definitely call. The phone lines are open, 800-563-7030, and we'll see you next week on the Wealth Training Academy.
Insurance services offered through the Wealth Training Academy and Insurance Made Easy, LLC. Investment advisory services offered through Sophos Investment Incorporated, an SEC registered investment advisor. Sophos is not affiliated with the Wealth Training Academy or any other entity listed herein. The opinions in this commentary are those of the author and may not necessarily reflect those held by Sophos. This is for general information only and is not intended to provide specific investment advice or recommendations for any individual. It is suggested that you consult your financial professional, attorney, or tax advisor with regard to your individual situation. Comments concerning past performance are not intended to be forward-looking and should not be viewed as investment advice. Tax services are offered through the Wealth Training Academy and the Tax Advisory Group, LLC. Tax services offered are to help business owners and individuals create sound tax planning strategies that are custom suited to their individual needs and objectives.